Fire up your laptop, get your tablet, watch on your TV. Get yourself comfy, this could take a while, make a cup of tea. There'll be songs, there'll be smiles, you might hear a story. Tell your family, get your friends round for a Stukeley assembly. Good morning everyone, and welcome to our Stukeley Reading Assembly. Let's get straight into everybody's favourite game, cheer, boo, song or silence. Behind the curtain is Mrs. Clark. In a moment she's going to come out, but will she get a cheer, a boo, a song or silence? Have a think now in your front rooms and your classrooms. I'm excited about this one. Right, here we go everyone. Out you come, Mrs. Clark! Sorry, that's our first ever silence. Yeah, okay. Man, I can't do any more silence. For each other we, every day we, to improve we, together we will. Every single Stukeley day we focus on. Our Stukeley motto is, our Stukeley curriculum is, and 4 words that make the magic happen. What was that? Let's try that again. 4 words that make the magic happen. Okay, one more time. 4 words that make the magic happen. Oh, very clever. Oh, very clever. Yeah. Very clever, Panthers. I think it's Panthers or ostriches. Mrs. Woolner's group. Yeah, I know. Mrs. Woolner's told me. When I say 4 words that make the magic happen, you all say, drink tea, eat cake. Yeah, I know. Mrs. Woolner said you did it. And now you've changed it on my assembly. Very good. Very good. Right, 4 words that make the magic happen. Yes, thank you so much. Not to Mrs. Wilder's group. Right, welcome everyone again. It's reading assembly. I'm good to go. Let's be honest, it's no Charles Dickens, is it? It's been quite a slow start to Northanger Abbey, but I promise you it's gonna get better. And in a moment, we're gonna start reading the book, and we are going to go straight for the interesting stuff in the middle and the end, because it's about to get a bit more mysterious. Let's do this. Right, very excited here, everyone. Catherine Morland, there she is, has gone to Bath with her friend. She's ended up meeting Isabella Thorpe, who she becomes very friendly with, but also she meets John Thorpe, who kind of tries to fall in love with her, but just makes a real mess of it. And Catherine really doesn't like him. But then she meets Eleanor Tilney and Henry Tilney. So she meets his brother and sister, and she starts to fall in love with Henry. And eventually, Henry invites her to his father's house. And that house is called Northanger Abbey. And they're now on their way there. Such an invitation from the distinguished General Tilney So that was the father of Henry Tilney. So he was the owner of the house, and he'd invited Catherine. Such an invitation from the distinguished General Tilney was an unexpected honour. Northanger Abbey, repeated Catherine. Her imagination immediately saw a decaying building with long dark passages and terrible secrets hidden beneath black veils. As her passion for old buildings was second only to her growing passion for Henry Tilney, she accepted the invitation. All that was needed was her parents' consent. This was duly sent for and given, and Catherine prepared for her new adventure. When the day of departure finally arrived, General Tilney suggested that, as the weather was so fine, Catherine might like to travel in the open curricle with Henry. Now, I'm not sure what a curricle is. Some kind of transport, I should imagine, but I'll leave you to find that one out. Catherine was as happy a being as ever existed. Noticing the parcel of books on the seat next to his passenger, Henry commented, "I see that you are a keen reader." Aware that many people disliked novels, Catherine blushed. "I am sure that you do not read, sir." "Of course I read," smiled Henry. "The person who does not enjoy a good novel must be intolerably stupid." Catherine smiled as he continued, "Who can fail to enjoy a book in which the greatest powers of the mind and the most thorough knowledge of human nature are displayed in carefully chosen language? Who can fail to enjoy the lively wit and humour?" Sounds like he's showing off a bit, doesn't it? "Have you read Adolfo or The Haunted Abbey?" asked Catherine. "I have, although they're not quite the books I had in mind." "Is Northanger Abbey haunted?" Henry's eyes twinkled with mischief. "Do you have a strong heart and nerves, Miss Morland? Will you be able to cope with your first night at Northanger?" "Oh, I am sure I will not be scared." "You must be brave when the crooked old housekeeper takes you to your gloomy room at the abandoned end of the abbey." I will. "When you see that there is a heavy locked chest in the darkest corner of your room, will you have the courage to sleep?" Catherine's smile was fading. I am sure this will not happen to me," she said quietly. "Will it?" "How will you feel when the housekeeper tells you about the tragic death that occurred in your room and confides in you that she hears eerie noises on stormy nights?" "Oh, please stop." Too much amused by Catherine's reactions to continue, Henry concentrated on guiding his gentle horses steadily towards Northanger Abbey. So Henry's been winding her up or joking with her that the abbey is haunted. The approach to Northanger Abbey was disappointingly modern. Even though the gathering grey clouds limited the sun's friendly rays, Catherine could see that no part of the building was derelict or neglected. The cheerful housekeeper led Catherine up a broad oak staircase to her room. The room was light and bright with colourful wallpaper and a soft carpet. Catherine felt rather silly for having expected anything different. A large ebony cabinet in the corner of the room briefly sent a thrill through her body before she remembered that General Tilney had told them not to be late for dinner. Catherine hurriedly changed and found her way to the large and lofty hall where she was to meet her hosts. Over dinner, Henry and Eleanor Tilney were not in their usual good spirits. Catherine expected to see them happy with their father, but she was disappointed to find them withdrawn and sullen. Their father, on the other hand, was exceedingly civil and polite towards her. It seemed that his only care was to entertain her and make her happy. His conversation was so full of gratitude and compliments that she felt quite awkward. Unable to relax in his presence, Catherine wondered whether his children were, like her, in awe and somewhat crushed by his powerful personality. Could they be afraid of him? Catherine returned to her room that evening, relieved to be free from the General's kindness. The night had grown stormy, and the 2 candles in her room cast strange shadows on the unfamiliar walls. As Catherine prepared for bed, she glanced over at the ebony cabinet. What is in it? She wondered. Why is it pushed back in the dark corner? Catherine's curiosity must be satisfied before she could sleep. Taking a candle, she approached the cabinet with a beating heart. Boom, 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 boom. In the flickering light, she saw a key in its door. She paused for a moment in breathless wonder. Though the key turned, the door would not open. The secret lock must hide a terrible secret. Suddenly, the key turned. Her eyes strained, and Catherine stared at something as she opened the drawer. It was a piece of paper. Her trembling hand reached towards it. Suddenly, a violent wind blew out both candles. Our brave heroine was plunged into darkness. With a sharp shriek, Catherine dropped the paper. In a cold sweat, she groped her way to bed. Trembling underneath the covers, Catherine listened to the wind's haunting murmurs and moans for several hours before she fell asleep. A cheerful ray of morning sun shone onto the abandoned paper where it lay on the floor. Catherine leapt out of bed, eagerly picked it up and returned to bed to read it. She slowly turned over the first page. She could not believe her eyes. Catherine was holding in her hands a list of clothes. It was a laundry bill. Oh, I have been so silly, she gasped. Grateful that nobody knew of her adventure and her mistake, she quickly returned the list to its drawer. The lock was now easy to open, as she realised it was herself who had locked it and then unlocked it. From now on, I shall be guided by common sense, Catherine vowed. After breakfast, Henry had to leave on parish business, and General Tilney offered to show Catherine around the Abbey's grounds. Eleanor, Henry's sister, joined them. Following his purposeful stride, Catherine was filled with wonder as the beautiful grounds opened up before her. The General looked pleased. If I love anything, it is a good garden, he said proudly, and I do believe that these grounds are the best in England. Catherine said that she had never seen anything to rival them. I'm sure your father's grounds are similar, he ventured. Catherine had to admit that the garden of her small cottage was of quite a different scale. You are too modest, smiled General Tilney. Father, let's go this way, suggested Eleanor. Why do you always choose that cold, damp path? Asked her father a little irritably. Timidly, Eleanor answered, It is my favourite walk. Wander as you please, said General Tilney. Catherine thought he looked rather angry as he turned away from Eleanor's chosen path and he headed back towards the Abbey. The path was delightfully narrow, winding and overgrown. This was my mother's favourite walk, Eleanor told Catherine. I used to walk here with her before she died. She fell silent. Eleanor's silence allowed Catherine to wonder, why did General Tilney not like to go there? Surely his wife's favourite walk should be a favourite of the grieving husband. If he did not love his wife's walk, had he ever loved her? There was undoubtedly something harsh in the General's face. He must have been a cruel husband. Mrs. Tilney must have suffered terribly in her marriage. Was your mother beautiful? Very. I presume that the portrait of her hangs in your father's room. No, it hangs in mine. I will show you later. Catherine began to feel a terrified dislike towards General Tilney. Why could he not bear his wife's portrait in his room? How had she died? Ho-ho! Looking forward to seeing where Northanger Abbey ends up. We're hopefully going to finish it next week. Right, just before we go, couple of shout outs. First shout out to Isla in year 1, Isla Chilcott, who has grown to love vegetables over lockdown. Her family were trying desperately to get her into them for years before we went into lockdown, and she has persevered and grown to love them and is eating fantastic amounts and really enjoying that. And I love to hear stories about people being healthy and trying to get fitter and look after their bodies. So well done, Isla. Really pleased about that. Looking forward to hearing more about it when we eventually all come back to school. Also, massive shout out to Zara T in foundation stage. Her family, her mum and dad, gave her a baby brother last week. And she has been a fantastic big sister, catching up on her workbook when she's missed bits out, being kind, being patient, being helpful. Great to hear about your care value, Zara, and I look forward to hearing more about it very soon. Tomorrow's singing assembly. There might be a performance from Coops and the gang, so keep an eye out for it. I will also be wearing an I Love Sharon's Wi-Fi t-shirt. I have bought one for every member of my family. That's about 20 close family. They've all got them. And we did a Zoom at the weekend and everyone wore them and it was marvellous. I'm hopefully going to make them available for all of you to buy if you want to. From the Oakleaf Bookshop. We haven't had the Oakleaf Bookshop running for months. So I'm hoping that one of its first brand new items, brand new products, will be books and an I Love Sharon's Wi-Fi t-shirt. So keep an eye out for those. That's it. Have a good day. Keep busy. See you soon. Fire up your laptop, get your tablet, watch on your TV. Get yourself comfy, this could take a while. Make a cup of tea. There'll be songs, there'll be smiles. You might hear a story. Tell your family, get your friends round for a Stukeley assembly.